Guys, we are back. Oh, so obviously Benny had to go, which is fine. He's a human being with responsibilities as an adult. I, on the other hand, am an adult who on the weekend tries not to have responsibilities, but I have it to you. So, guys, did Benny mention the current change for the ancient, by the way? I got distracted during that part. I don't think he did. I think he said it was still up in the air and changing after the discussion that was had. Wait, he did? When? Cecilia, when did he mention the new change the ancient was getting? He said they want to. He said they were going in a more different direction with it, but after the change that they posted, he said it was changed again. I don't think he told me what the new change was. Unless I was just like in awe of his presence with me and it bypassed me and I was like, oh, Benny's here. I'm so happy Benny's here. It's probably what happened. Okay, perfect. I was not wooed off my chair. All right, let's see here. So on to the next games. Last week, did we do the Fatal Zeph and Rocketstar matches? I know I went live on Sunday, and they were posted on Sunday. I feel like I did. I did. Perfect. Awesome. So it looks like the matches that I need to do are OFC. OFC, if you're on here, who did you go against? Before I ultimately open these up anyway. Ulti Gamer, who I believe doesn't post his videos at all, so I should be fine on just these two. So, got myself some cutout cookies. They're the best cookies in the world, I tell you. Guys, before we start, was that interview with Benny not amazing? Oh my word. Having your questions in front of me made it so much easier because all I had to do was just talk. I didn't have to think or do anything appropriate. I just read a sheet. It was the best thing in the world. I cannot wait to have him on again. So please, if you have any more questions, send them to either me or Alicia, and next time we have him on, we'll be prepared. Because obviously you can ask him yourself. Don't feel like you have to come through us to do that. Ask him yourself. But that was amazing, and I cannot wait to do it again. I hope we can get something set up for October when the new sets release. We can get some insight development from him. Maybe if he wants to bring over some other... Jacob, if you want to fly from Australia to Benny's house and be in the next video, you're more than welcome to, man. I'm always happy to talk to you as well. But yeah, that was amazing to be able to do, and I cannot wait to do it again. Question, give me gold. Answer, no. Next one. What specifically were the changes to Sunbeacon and Mirror Beast? Sunbeacon, he said, is now becoming a buff, which is a 0, 1, and 2. And it is. I think it's going to increase damage on the corners of Chimchu cards. Or no, if it's whatever. And I think it also had something to do with... No. Sunbeacon was X, 1, 2, damage on its corners, and whenever you laid a Chimchu card, you got an additional action. Oh, if your last discarded card is a Chimchu. That's what it was. Okay. I'm getting all this info mixed. I didn't type it down, so I'm just trying to have quick memory recall. And I do know that Mirror Beast was, instead of it returning to your hand, the big change of it is it's going to be just shuffled back into your deck. Kind of the way that the Flameborn Tusker is. If you have 2 buffs on board of different alignments, it could shuffle back into your deck. So that is the change to Mirror Beast. But yeah, I'm super excited. I cannot wait to see next month what the changes to these cards are, what the new cards are, what mechanics, what families they're coming out with. I didn't even know they were bringing a new family into this game until Benny just said that. So I'm super pumped to see what all they're adding to the game because it's getting so good, guys. It's getting so good. Also, can we just talk about Benny's forearms? What lovely, lovely sights to see there. Question. You said, wait, what? What do you what do you need answered, my man? What is the what? What for the question? New family? Yes. It was spoiled by Benny himself that a new family is being introduced in Wave 5 or sets 8 and 9. There is a new family coming. I'm getting pretty excited about it. He said it's gonna be one that's spread out through a lot of the alignments, so it's not just gonna be like it's a new family for tech. No, he said it's gonna be something kind of uniformly spread out, but I don't know what it is. I can't speculate on what it's gonna be because we need more lore, guys. The lore, all that lore that Benny just dumped on us. Not even just like saying the lore, just saying that there is lore about some of these characters. Oh, I don't know about you, but I'm huge into lore. Like World of Warcraft, I watched lore videos. I could watch those for hours on end. Magic the Gathering, now they started doing lores. I started reading some of those books. They're phenomenal. I like lore draws me into game. It makes me feel like I'm a part of that universe, and I want to get my hands on this stuff to then like. It's like, yeah, did you know this card he does this? Yeah, if I take the lore and I start building a theme deck around that, that's awesome. Lore is so powerful to games. It's amazing. But yeah, guys, without further ado, not into lore, but Benny made you excited for it. I know. Benny just has this presence about him that you could be like, oh man, I don't I don't really like to eat sushi, and then you just watch Benny talk about it, and you're like, I could probably go to a sushi bar today, like now, like yeah, for some reason I have a vast interest in whatever he was talking about, and I want it. Like he's just that inanimate of a person. Jade, get him on camera, please. Make those videos. Watch the lore blow up. All right, guys, we ready for OFC's match? Are we ready for the first of two against Ulti Gamer? Let's do it. He knows it's an Ulti Gamer. Wrangle for. Okay, I'll try to write more. Dude, you do you, man. I cannot wait to hear it. So we have a Ferris the Banished. Looks like a pretty aggressive Ferris with the explosive blast spot in there. Ulti Gamer, as we've seen the Maki the Unbreakable, that deck, the archetype that's been coming out, it's probably one of my new favorite ones with the Font of Misfortune right off the bat. I'm actually kind of surprised that. Well, Lindsay just Snapchatted something that we're not allowed to see. But yeah, Ulti Gamer. Oh! Oh, that was a big misplay by Ulti Gamer. Everything had burned, so he couldn't bring it back. Oh, Ulti Gamer. Yep, now he's just realizing what he just did. I missed something. How did that get +2? I missed something. Oh, no, it's a Creeble card. Dewey. He laid the flame chain. I was like, no, I don't know what's happening. So it looks like OFC starting off really strong. Lava Tamer wants to lay that blast spot, but doesn't have the turret equipped, so he decides to go with the flame bat instead. Both players down to a minimal hand size, so those two card draws are not going to work. I have a question on Font. Hold on. Does Font of Misfortune not? Is it only the top cards? Is it only the top card of your opponent's deck is burned? I thought it was the entire discard pile. I thought it was the entire discard pile. Cards in all heroes discard pile have burn. How did Ferris get those elementals back if they have burn? That might be a bug. I'm not going to say anything, but it might be a bug. Benny immediately... Uh-oh. See, Benny, now you got to be here for these tournament matches, because this is where we find most of the bugs. This is where we're like, wait, that happened? How did that interaction work? I don't understand. Umbred Informant being able to draw some cards here. Still not having access to Explosion yet. But we do have several cards that are just dealing damage now and drawing cards. The Mountain Breaker will take a little while, but that Flame Bat is just, it's 1 point off. It's 1 point off. Ulti Gamer having no burn cards on top, not being able to use the Abyss Tentacle just yet. Her ability will trigger, but it'll do nothing. So the Mountain Breaker is going to come down here. We are going to draw 2 more cards with the Barkeep. That Flame Shard Giant with the Flame Bat will be enough to do it, even if he only heals for 2 off the Abyss Tunneler. Ulti Gamer has got to find either a Wall of Bones here to stay alive, or Soul Thief. Something to heal him. Because the 2 healing here will not be enough, unfortunately. Looks like we're putting Font of Misfortune back into the deck, which puts the Venom Feeder on top, which is actually a burn card. So that's a nice card interaction there, the way it all works in its progressive order. And a Dust Talon Assassin again, triggering it. Not having the damage he needs, however. It looks like OFC is... It's going to feel like a scrape by win. Both decks being very aggressive. I'm honestly surprised that Ulti Gamer's deck pulled out that much offense out of Dread. Usually Dread is more cyclical damage, so it's really cool to see some spike turns out of that as well. But Ulti Gamer going down to the first match of OFC. Very close games, very aggressive games off of that, the Ferris build. On to game 2. Yeah, I mean, well, he would have lost out on 8 damage, and the Flame Bat was pretty crucial. So the game, he might have ended up losing that if due to the misfire. But then the Ulti Gamer had a misfire with the Venom Feeder trying to get the poison card back. So there were a lot of misplays and bugs in that first match. But yeah, it is a little difficult to determine the ending, how that game would have went. So it looks like OFC using a Lush Lost Behemoth as an animal in his Vandal deck is pretty interesting. Necro Dreadling off of 1 card. Obviously, it is to get a burn card on top so that Makia, her ability, can start activating. Dust Talon Assassin is now on top, so the burn is now gone. Ulti Gamer is really going heavy on its aggression really quickly off the bat, but it's using up a lot of resources, unfortunately, able to do so. So Ulti Gamer better have... They might also have, like, Umbred Informants, Barkeeps in their hand to draw cards, as we've seen from last game. In which case, dumping their hand at this point in time is probably the better choice. But without seeing his hand, it's difficult to tell. Looks like we're going to pass draw here, build up more resources. Having the Blinded Beetle only hit 1 card. It is a Shadow Puppet, and in Vandal's very buff-heavy deck, it's very interesting to see what could be happening. Now, with a Moonbeak Corvid... I'm trying to think, does Moonbeak need Lunar? No, Moonbeak needs Solar on top. If it's Lunar, it heals. That's right. Solar is damage, Lunar is healing. So it is going to be able to have some damage, but that Gurgling Ooze is going to prevent Vandal from coming down in a massive swing. Unfortunately, it has almost no buffs in its hand to do anything with. But Ulti Gamer did have... Oh, Gravity heals. Solar and Gravity. It's a Lunar card that needs... Thank you. Thank you. But Gurgling Ooze is going to come down and prevent any future buff turns, but it looks like OFC just has a very defensive hand. Nothing but card draw, buff prevention, still waiting on getting his animal card to lay that Lush Lost Behemoth with, but his hand is just, there's not a whole lot of interaction to do anything with, picking up 2 very powerful combos. We should be able to see hopefully something come out of OFC soon. With that planetary alignment being picked up, even that gravity bubble is nice. But it all depends on if what he can do off of the combos that is really going to hurt. So we're going to see a Pathfinder come down and just instantly remove those two. Take 3, but it's fine. We're sitting on 2 Twilight Oracles. We're sitting on a lot of healing. Actually, all 3 Twilight Oracles. So OFC is not feeling threatened at all right now, but it's a simple fact that Ulti Gamer's resources are pretty minimal and not a whole lot to do right now. Font of Misfortune does come down, and we are going to see Maki is starting to swing in for 3 damage. But it is going to take up a lot of actions, so the card draw is going to not be as potent as it should be either. We're kind of back and forth in almost a stalemate aspect. Pathfinder is going to come out, start breaking up that Font of Misfortune. That was actually a pretty good play by OFC to prevent the 3 damage from constantly coming in like that. Ultra Gamer's still sitting on 3 cards, just passing and drawing. Like I said, they blew through a lot of resources at the beginning of the game, but OFC did not have the cards in hand he needed in order to come back in to really pick up steam off of the advantage of all the cards. I wonder why OFC isn't using any Twilight Oracles to draw and heal just to get him out of his hand. Obviously, they are just holding on. They could be used for Pathfinder. They could be used for something else. But as we've seen before, Makia's deck is very explosive, and healing when you can above 20 could be a good thing, even if just used 1. We're waiting for an item. I mean, it's very possible. So 1 Shadow Puppet goes away. Looks like that's the only attack. Ulti Gamer is a very buff-heavy deck, which means holding into those Pathfinders is going to be crucial. We've already used 2 of them, so that 3rd one is going to be pretty much our saving grace right now, along with the Gravity Bubble and Black Hole. So a lot of ways to control the board for Astral, as it would seem. Unfortunately, now looks like a perfect turn for either a Gravity Bubble or a Black Hole. It looks like the Bubble is going to be the one to do it. So now we're tied, almost tied, 17 to 18. We finally pick up the item. Looks like OFC is going to be able to equip that Eagle Horn bow, or Eagle Peak bow. Not Eagle Horn. Eagle Peak. Tentacle's going to come down. Spectral Widow's going to come down. We're starting to see now a lot more chip damage from Dread, as we did see the Black Hole went away as well. It's Eagle Beak. I said Peak. Eagle Beak. That makes way more sense. But we could see the item come down, and maybe even a Lush Lost Behemoth in preparation for a planetary alignment next turn to swing for 23 damage. But it looks like a Pathfinder is going to come down first before we equip the bow. Remove any potential damaging threats that Ulti Gamer could have for a really big spike turn. Good on his part. We might even, just to see if he does it, OFC could put down a Lush Lost Behemoth with the Starhorn Tusker. We'd have a Blinding Beetle in hand as well to make sure that no Pathfinders are in hand. I want to see all of these card names be memes for this bow, and I want to see alterations on the art to fit the new name. So it looks like we are going to see the Starhorn Tusker come down, and that damage is actually going to make sure that that Wall of Bones is almost negligible damage reduction. And I believe this is going to be the shutout with a planetary alignment. Because essentially it's... What does I say? 23 plus 6, so 29 damage. Preventing 3 of it. Still 26 damage. which is quite a lot, if I do say so myself. And adding in that Midnight Bloom for even more buff removal is just very smart on OFC's part. That is a very well designed deck off of the initial design that I believe Bulbasaur came up with for the Sky Slayer Vandal, and adding an animal for those Leshlas Behemoths to really get even more spike damage coming through with it as well. Great design, great execution on that as well. It looks like the Machia deck just couldn't keep up with the spike damage. It did pretty well on the attrition damage and damage against the Ferris, but not having as much healing as Mountain was access to really kind of held it down a little bit with Boulder Feasts and all that stuff being in there. Looks like Rocket Czar is up next on my list. Now, who did Rocket Czar play? Snecky Erms. I don't think... No, Snecky didn't post his videos, because there's only Rocket Czar's videos left. So, should we just talk about him? Should we just go into this and talk? Let's do it. Obviously, Rocket Czar playing his Machia the Unbreakable deck, probably fairly similar to the last one that we saw. There's the Font of Misfortune. So it does look like this deck is beginning to get some more traction in its later views. But Snecky Erms playing Kiwi Sunfist here. Rocket Czar starting off with enough chip damage through that Spectral Widow. Very nice to see. Twilight Oracle picking up an Energy Hoarder. This could be an interesting deck with Kiwi Sunfist. As Energy Hoarder, I have seen a few card interactions and things with Energy Hoarder be used in the past. But with all the erratas that everyone is doing, it should be quite interesting to see what this one comes out to be. So a Snecky here waiting. Rocket Czar, yeah, unfortunately not having the other shadow buff here with the Abyss Tentacle. Could be interesting to see what he's still looking for to draw. And with the Starhorn Tusker coming down. Ooh. What is that, a Dusk Snout Creeble? I didn't see the name. And it's not a card that I play a whole lot often. But the Wall Bones is going to come down. Preventing hopefully a good amount of damage reduction without a shadow buff being included into it. But very nice to see that Dust Snout Defender. I need to look this card up. Dust Snout Defender. Cool. I got it right eventually. Awesome. Yeah, it's not really worth shadow puppeting. Wall of Bones is preventing a lot of the damage coming through. Obviously, the Abyss Tentacle is not worth putting down either right now with nothing to go off of it. This could just be a pass draw turn. You could Font of Misfortune into Machia's ability. Looks like Bloodhunter or the Redeemer just to get a burn card on top for next turn. Obviously, the Wall Bones will rotate out in one turn, so you only have one good turn of it before Machia can't use her ability without the font being in play. But I'm still curious as to see what Kiwi Sunfist is planning on doing here. It's a very interesting and unique deck that I haven't seen before, so it's really hard to comment back on what plays we need to watch out for here. As Rocket Czar's hand is looking a little dry in a lot of areas, not having a whole lot of damage or impact base, and there's a Pathfinder to remove two very strong buffs. Rocket Czar might just be past drawing for a few turns, as right now it doesn't seem like there's any avenue that he can go to put back on the pressure after just healing for 7. But then again, Snecky only has 4 cards in hand too, so we could see a few turns of just pass draw. Wait till they both reaccumulate their hands. With an Astronomer coming down, that is definitely going to hopefully even bait out that Shadow Puppet. We haven't seen too many cards come out of Kiwi Sunfist's deck, so we don't know what it's exactly capable of yet. But we've only seen that Dust Snout Defender, and it hit for a full impact. Killing that Astronomer to really slow down his card advantage might help, but it could open up an avenue where we're getting a lot of other aggressive buffs come down that you can't deal with right now. Obviously, you don't need to act yet. Well, actually, in Astral, you might, because they might be running the Ice Feather Mystic to just spin that forward and draw forward for free, essentially. As we've seen, Astral's card interactions are very unique and very almost unpredictable at times with how they can manipulate the board. So it looks like it is going to be turned for a Font of Misfortune to hit. Makia's ability is online. Snecky giving the well played. We're just going to pass draw here. Not entirely sure if there was a play that Rocket Tsar knew about to prevent that from happening, or if it was just coincidental. So we are going to get a card draw, and the Makia the Unbreakable coming off for the ability. Probably some really good chip damage, along with that Abyss Hoarder drawing us cards while we do it. Really helps fill in the gap for not slowing down in tempo. Snecky's still waiting. He is going to draw 4 cards next turn unless Rocket Tsar does decide to Shadow Puppet that. He could also Devour Soul, but it does look like a Shadow Puppet is now a perfect time to interact with this board. As we can already see, it's already queued up after the Makia ability to draw a card. Shadow Puppet's going to come down, moving both of those. Rocket Tsar looks like he is in pretty good control of this game, but Snecky's still at 25, 6 cards in hand. There's just so much potential for things to happen right now. Telestra Protector to draw a card, little chip damage as well. Snecky's just going to pass. He's going to wait it out, see what happens. Rocket Tsar is not applying a whole lot of pressure just yet. We could Makia one last time, or we could Abyss Tunneler to get the Hoarder back for 1 turn and make sure that we get back the Font of Misfortune. Looks like we're going to Assassin's Guild to make sure we can do everything that we want. That works perfect. Now, in this case, I would actually rotate back the Hoarder over the Font. Maybe he heard me. I don't know. Because you can get the Font back next turn. With the Font still up, the Abyss Hoarder can't get anything back. An Energy Hoarder is going to come down. Maybe we're going to start seeing some attack cards come out from Snecky soon. Yes, because now with that Hoarder up, the Hoarder would have triggered, drawn you a card, the Shade would have triggered, then the Tunneler would have triggered to probably get back to the Font of Misfortune. Tunneler would have gone to the discard pile, being the top card of a burn, and then Makia's ability wouldn't have gone off. So obviously we're not seeing any ability trigger on that turn. Making sure we're not burning any resources. We're just past Drew. Picked up some nice cards with the Spectral Widow and a Soul Thief. But Snecky, I'm still not entirely sure what his plan is. He does have an Energy Hoarder out, so we are hopefully going to see quite a few attack cards come down. Starstorm. Well, knowing with a Shadow Puppet in Rocket Tsar's hand, that does look like a very fine turn to second Shadow Puppet for Kiwi. Potentially ruin a lot of tempo that his deck could be running. It looks like we're going to Makia back possibly the Font, possibly an Abyss Tentacle. The Hoarder or the Tunneler will then rotate out, and Makia's ability will trigger. And we might see the Shadow Puppet come down. We could just see a Spectral Widow and try for push damage right now. Or even a Wall of Bones would be fine. It all depends. Rockets are sitting at 27 isn't that threatened by anything right now. But those are pretty powerful buffs from Snecky to just remove and slow down his tempo gain right now. And now it might be a little too late. The Shadow Puppet is going to be moved back, and Snecky now has... I was going to say something to follow up, but it looks like he just passed through. Wanted to wait the turn out. A Tentacle is going to hit the board now, and with Tunneler on top, that is still a burn card, so we could be seeing more Machia's abilities triggering. That is exactly what is going to happen here. A lot of push damage. I would not be surprised if we just see a pass draw here right now. There's no real reason for Rocketstar to start overextending. Spectral Widow does come down and hit the board. Still waiting on Snecky to reveal what he has planned for that Energy Hoarder, unless it's just there to buff bait removal. So we are going to get a Militant to the bottom of the deck. That's one attack. Snecky might just be taking his time. One action a turn, one drawing. Could be just fine on his part. Devour Soul looks like it is about time to get the full healing in. Energy Hoarder is going to be removed. But really slow down Snecky's tempo from all those attacks being reused and recycled back into the deck. Picking up a Bloodpact Redeemer off of that Devour Soul is a great card to have. So with Starstorm and a Sunplane Charger... Correct me if I'm wrong. Starstorm is solar lunar, right? Or is it lunar gravity? We got to see Snecky put a card in between after the Starstorm comes down. Sitting on 5 cards in hand. Still wondering what Snecky's... Moonbeat Corvid comes down. That's actually a really good card for him. And the Wilderness Mystic. That is a beautiful card synergy for those as well. 2 Shadow Puppets have already been... Or no, one just... Was it just one? I think one Shadow Puppet's been used. The other one was tossed back. But right now, the buff state on board for Snecky is very powerful and strong. It looks like the Necro Juggling is going to hit, getting back a lot of good resources for Rocket Czar. But with Snecky's board state, he's going to get a lot of value out of this. He might just pass draw. There's no reason for him to try and push anymore. That Wall Bones is going to soak up quite a bit of damage. And with Machia's ability being able to essentially do 5 a turn, Rocket Czar could just pass as well. Both players sitting at a pretty good board state, letting their board do the thing while they regather resources to the hand. Rocket Czar might just be looking for either more Abyss package cards to help his Machia trigger, or he could be looking for just essentially more damage. A lot of the Dread stuff is coming from his buff damage as well, but he doesn't have the hand accumulation at all. Another Shadow Puppet will be really nice here for Rocketsar as well. Rocketsar deciding to trigger the ability, only dealing 2 damage off this Machia. And then pass drawing. Getting that Abyss Tentacle back down there. Drain Life could be a nice card we see. And obviously the Sunplane Charger is now not going to restart because the Corvid is going on top. Probably not what was expected of Snecky. Still, playing Astral is very difficult. You got to time your card rotations properly. With another Astronomer coming down, and no way to get rid of it, Rocketsar could lose the initiative here to Snecky getting so much card advantage. Alright, we got another Font of Misfortune. It could help, but we are still sitting on a way to really apply more damage. We do have a Drain Life in hand. We could Drain Life for 8 if it doesn't get interrupted, and then an Impact Redeemer for 4. The Font of Misfortune could lead us into lethal. There are enough resources in Rocketsar's hand to push and find for lethal. But now with that phase shift, you really have to think to yourself, now I might have to be a little more defensive, which is why the Shroud comes down. We're actually 1 away from Raising the Dead. If we can find ourselves another Shadow card, Raising the Dead could potentially put in a lot of terrible threats for Snecky as it is. Looks like we're going to draw 4 cards, heal 2, and deal essentially 1 next turn. The way this board is set up for Snecky. Beautiful draws for Rocketsar. Being able to play Raising the Dead for practically nothing next turn is going to be a huge tempo swing. It all depends on what Snecky just drew here to really get use out of that phase shift. Enlightenment is a great card. It's dealing a lot of chip damage. Getting a heal in there with the phase shift is going to be powerful too. Destroying that Shroud, that Death Shroud, was a amazing turn for Snecky to pull. A lot of times I pull that, I got a lot of gravity, so that was a great turn by Snecky. We could see Raise the Dead, or we could see a Shadow form now with all the stuff that Snecky just drew. It does, however, looks like he's going to try and go on the offense right now before any more healing is done. Picking up a Devour Soul, realizing that buffs might be the more potential dangerous thing in the future of this game. There's the Telestan Priest. And a Snowcast Elder. This could be it for Rocket. We have 1 more action. If he can deal 6 damage or heal and deal, anything could be very detrimental to him right now. Oh! So close to lethal. Rocketsar going to heal, put out that Shroud of Night. Snecky was 1 draw away. And then we're going to pick up Devour Soul on top of it to heal for another 8. Rocketsar just squeaked back into this game. Snecky, however, holding onto a very large hand. And now a perfect target for that Devour Soul. That, however, is a perfect counter to the counter. Looks like an Abyss Hoarder is going to come down. We are going to see a Machia. Card draw 3 damage. Get back into our chip gain routine. This game really is up to anyone right now. With that Chimchu defender, it's a whole new ball game. Pathfinder's going to come down, removing his card draw, still allowing him to get 4 more health off of that Shroud of Night. Or Shadow form. Shroud of Night's a different one. We do have several things we can do here. Abyss Shade allows us to draw a card. However, Makia's ability is not online anymore, so we'd have to Font of Misfortune. Not being able to lay Devour Soul was a huge swing turn for Snecky. And it looks like we're finally going to get rid of it with Soul Thief. Still allowing for the Devour Soul next turn if need be. Now, why is Devour Soul not... Am I missing something? Oh, because Lunar's on top. The buff is preventing him from laying combos. Is that right? Is that why Devour Soul was not lighting up as a playable card? Dawn Wanderer, yes. I don't run into that card a whole lot, so it's... Yep. Discard is Lunar, so your opponent can't play combos. Once again, preventing the Devour Soul. Title Shift to bring my healing back up. Still keeping Lunar, and now Solar on top for both of them. Next turn, that Mage Ship is going to find Lethal. Devour Soul still unable to be played. Abyss Tunneler and Soul Thief might be his only way out right now. We're almost done. Almost done. Soul Thief coming in. Healing for 4. So we are essentially on 5 against Astral. And I believe Snecky is going to close this one out here. Beautifully played around a lot of Rocket Star's defense, healing, buff removal combo, all the things. Snecky gave an amazing game there. Off of a very unorthodox deck, in my opinion. I have not seen that one, or that, at least that list, be shown. Free Sunstrike with the Wanderer too. Actually, I think he had to play that. Because the Sunplane Charger got put on top of the discard pile, making it... Oh, no, it was Solar. Why do I think Sunplane Charger is Gravity? Yeah, it was a free Sunstrike, too. That was a very, very interesting and very well-built deck by Snecky. Great job on his part. And then Rocket Stars matches 2 and 3 are in this video. So go ahead and open these up. That was an amazing first match. Hey! Run Good, thank you very much for the follow. Great to have you here. Hope you're enjoying it. Rocket Star versus Snecky. Looks like this game, we're going to 3, guys. So Rocket Star switching to his Astral deck after the loss to Snecky's. An Egg Chamber comes down for Snecky. Rocket's Art does have quite a bit of aggression right now, but he could just pass, let the board kind of ride out. We'll see what goes from there. Picks up a Starhorn Tusker, but still nothing to really use it with, so getting a perfect value off those Feasting Skeetos. Snecky could be running a fairly aggressive insect deck, which I'm A-okay with. But we'll see how it fares against this powerful Astral deck. Looks like we're going against another buffless aggro, but with that Starhorn Tusker, it does read that there probably is some buffs. Unless he's just using the Starhorn to increase the hero power to 4. Which is exactly what is going to happen. With that much just impact every turn of 4 damage, Snaky could be sitting in a lot of trouble as nature does not have spike healing. It's very, very cyclical in its damage, kind of like Dread is. It could be interesting to see how Snaky comes back from this, taking 4 damage a turn and not having consecutive answers to put on the board. Could just be very difficult to deal with Duskguard. As that looks like exactly what's going to happen here. We are going to ability pass, and just let the hero power do what it needs to do. Getting some very powerful insect attack cards. Banebloom coming down, which is really nice. Nature, as we all know, is very low on card draw. Banebloom, I'm a very big fan of Banebloom as a combo itself. Rockets are finally realizing that he does need to start healing a little bit. Duskfeeder comes down to remove those 2 combos, realizing the potential threat Banebloom has to offer, risking his Starhorn Tusker's damage impact, looking probably for another one. We could, however, Umbron Barkeep into Moonlight Burrower, get that Tusker back, and start the whole process over again. Snaky equipping that Tome, along with an Insect Swarm, could be a very potentially powerful buff if that Insect Swarm starts getting its damage in and possibly increasing. Moonlight Burrow, I'm thinking of a different card. Moonlight Burrow is draw from the top. It's not get a card back. So Moonlight Burrow, we're still digging for a Starhorn Tusker. There's the Chimchar Infiltrator that we're looking for that Tusker to come back. Lunar Shrieker, yes, and it only returns the top card. But the Infiltrator bringing back that Tusker. Snaky now realizing the Tusker is going to come back. Could be potentially dangerous. We do have that Sunstrike in hand along with a Gravity Bubble. There's a lot of spike potential from Rocketstar that we just have to see here. Mantic's Tunneler is going to hit the board. I think we're just going to see it back. The Starhorn Tusker and the ability, we're just going to keep hitting for 4. Hopefully our damage output is going to be more than that Insect Swarm can do, leading us into the Sunstrike potential in a few turns. We could Lunar Shrieker into Astral Priest for a good 6 damage this turn as well. Get card draw and healing. Although we might want to save those. It's the only Lunar card in our hand if we do need to lay Gravity Bubble. Looks like we're just going to pass. We're not even going to Tusker this turn. No need to, I guess. Picking up a Pathfinder off of that Twilight Oracle will be a great turn to get rid of those buffs that Snecky has to really just reapply pressure. Great pickups by Rocket. And a Territorial Dominance is going to hit the field for 14 damage. Rocket was at 30. Now he's halfway down. Now's a good time to Twilight. That's for sure. Possibly into that Pathfinder. Snacky now with 4 cards, nothing on the board as Nature not in a good position. We could be starting to see that Starhorn Tusker ability come through again for that final push damage. Snacky really needs to start finding some Stumpdrift Shaman. Bramblespike Caretaker is a really good one here. Putting in a Behemoth is not bad. That's 11 damage represented on board, but Nature does not usually have a lot of damage from hand. Blinding Beetle could remove any attack damage as we're seeing a very heavy hitting buff. It's going to put back his only 2 attack cards as there was not an option to look for more. That is detrimental to Snecky as now he has nothing in his hand to do anything with. Pathfinder's picked up in case there is a buff that he wants to lay. And we have still not used the Starhorn Tusker for damage. We're taking our time. We're playing this game very smart through Rocketsar's eyes. No need to rush it. Having our 3rd Pathfinder right now could be a good play. Sunstriking for 7's not bad. We could Pathfinder and remove that Behemoth. But it looks like we are just going to start Starhorn Tuskering the next few turns and close this game out before anything bad happens. Rocketstar realizing that his opponent has very minimal hand size, almost nothing on board. Attacks are all gone. The tempo that he's putting out is probably enough to outsway Snecky's tempo in damage and come out ahead in this. As we're going to see 4 damage. Next turn, we have quite a bit of damage as well. However, we are 1 off lethal. But that actually will do it. Now we're 1 off lethal again. That book, man, I tell you. Moonlight Burrower into the Astral Priest. Sitting at 15. Snecky's at 3. I don't think that Snecky can outcome from this. Canopy Creeper. Unfortunately, that Behemoth did go to the bottom of the discard pile. Realizing that now and not coming into play. And I believe that's it. I don't think there's anything that Snecky could do from this point to heal, put a defense down. You can't use the Tome anymore because it's also Forest. And 1 Shimchu Militant will close this out. Great game by Rocketstar, biding his time, not overextending into that Starhorn Tusker the way I was talking about doing. Didn't need to. And as we go into game 3, Makia versus Green Sprout. Great game. Bramble Spike Caretaker into a Bramble Spike Hunter. Very interesting. And then a Mantix Tunnel is going to come down, being an amazing attack value for that Hunter to stay on the board. Rockets are, however, having a very powerful hand. We're going to Blood Pact Redeemer, just to get a burn on top. And then pass. Next turn, we are probably going to see Abyss Hoarder, Abyss Tentacle into Maki's ability. Really trying to put on the damage before Snecky can really come back with his 8 damage next turn. The Tome is going to come out, which is going to be another ability. It's not an attack ability, it's a defend. But it is probably one of the more commonly used items that it is draw. And drawing, card draw is card draw, guys. I can't say that enough. We did pick up that Assassin's Guild, which could open up an entirely new avenue of turns, as we're going to get 3 actions if we really want to. But it looks like we are going to go with the Hoarder into Tentacle into Makia ability. Picking up that Death Shroud is really nice. Reckless Spirit going to hit the board. Probably remove the Hoarder as it is card draw. Getting rid of also the burn on top of the discard pile. Very good counterplay by Snecky here as well. Decides to pass, not using the Tunneler's ability. Probably saving it in case he does need an attack for the Warrior. Or the Hunter. However, picking up that second Blood Pact Redeemer is going to put another burn card on top. And yes, Mud Turtle, it is better with Iron Bark. Gotta love the attacks, man. Death Shroud is going to be played here, preventing probably a lot of damage next turn, as the Hunter is going to be prevented. If he wants to use the Tunneler, any attacks that he's going to do, that Shroud is going to soak up nice. Even into a Devour Soul. However, we do not have any death cards to run Devour Soul, so it is kind of dead in our hand right now. Reckless Spirit, that's 2 Reckless Spirits from Snecky. Still deciding which one he cares to remove. The Death Shroud is going to be the one, which is actually going to be a great turn for that Blood Pact Redeemer to hit the board. Get that Death Shroud back into another Abyss Tentacle. Into 7 damage. Rocket is going to have an amazing swing turn here. Bringing it Snecky down to 10, and then representing 7 damage on board next turn. Rocketstar has definitely pulled ahead in this. 2 Reckless Spirits are now gone. Snecky's still trying to bide his time, finding what he wants to do with the board presence. Ashward Nurturer, 2 healing, gets a beast card from him. Which one is he going to pick up? It could be a Zfling. Very interesting. Not a lot of people run Zfling, as Dread and a lot of other decks right now are being very buff heavy. So 2 damage going to come through. Rockets are going to use the Maki ability for another 7 damage. Snecky is essentially at 2 here. We need to see a Moss Ridge Defender. We need to see... I don't even think Stump Drift Shaman will really pull him out of this one. Bramble Spike Caretaker could be 3 healing. There's a lot of things here that Snecky needs to do. But getting his only resource from the forest off of that tome is probably not going to be impactful enough. And it looks like Rocket is going to take this one too. And Rocket triggering the Amakia for 4 damage off of the tentacles. And that'll seal game 3. Rocket with a come from behind victory after losing game 1 to win game 2 and 3. Awesome job. Awesome job. And hey, Chuck X Man. Yeah, actually, you're probably ran into me. I'm the only one with the clutch emote. I was given to it by one of the coders, Dells, who put it in. I'm pretty much one of the only people that streams Light Seekers, puts out Light Seekers content right now. So it was given to me as a nice little thank you. But yeah. Yeah. Well, even when there was more, it's true. I'm still with it, guys. I'm still with it. It looks like that's it for all the videos we have today, or this week. I think not to undermine Benny's amazing post, and I still have a lot of catching up to do with the past few weeks' videos to getting up to getting them uploaded to my YouTube. I am going to end the stream early today, right now, so that I can get a lot of my free time work done as it is. So next week we will look into obviously more OLL videos. We will hopefully get some more news from the Wednesday that we just got revealed. There's like so much news just got dropped today from talking to Benny for 3.5 hours. It was awesome. So I hope that everyone's able to soak all that information in, continue talking about it on Discord and everywhere else. Really, keep building the hype up, because according to him, next week Wednesday, another developer insights coming. Looking so forward to that. And yeah, look for my videos. I'll hopefully be posting them to YouTube this afternoon, getting them all put up for like the last 3 weeks. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being an amazing part of this community. Couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Castilia, if you're still here. I know you probably left already, but thank you again for putting that all together. I cannot wait to talk to Benny again, for you guys, with you guys, all that fun jazz. So from the bottom of my heart, guys, thank you very much for being here. It is Saturday morning. I know a lot of you don't like to wake up on Saturday morning. I sure don't, but I love it when it's coming to meet you guys. So until next week, have a good time, have fun, keep playing those games, and I'll see you then.